Hi, I'm Father Michael, and you're watching Essentials. Today we're going to be talking about the vice of pride and the virtue of humility. Pride is something that is oftentimes very misunderstood. A lot of times people think, I have pride, I need to think more poorly of myself, right? But that's not what pride is. And we'll get to that when we talk about the virtue corresponding to it of humility. First of all, pride, though, is misunderstanding ourselves. It's viewing ourselves inaccurately, okay? Humility is viewing ourselves accurately. Pride comes when we view ourselves inaccurately. Either we think too well of ourselves and we fill our minds with all of these entitlements. I should be able to have this, or I'm better than that person. And we end up sinning because we feel entitled to something, or we feel better than someone, and we're going to condescend to them. We're going to do something mean to them. Why? Because we're better than they are, right? That's what most people already understand about pride. But there's an underside of that too, which is misunderstanding ourselves too poorly. I'm too bad. I'm too miserable. Nobody can love me. Boo-hoo, poor me. And we get into this. It's another version of entitlement, of self-pity, right? This is inaccurate on both levels, right? We don't want to think that we're garbage, and we also just don't want to think that we're princes like walking around on air, right? What we want to do is understand ourselves as we really are. And how do we do that? Well, the clarifying lens to be able to see who we are comes through the virtue of humility. Humility, as Mother Teresa, I think it's Mother Teresa, has once said, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. Getting out of your own way and just engaging in relationships with people. Now, let's take, for example, the sin of gossip that comes out of pride, right? Let's say some ladies are gossiping. Why? Because they're in competition with one another. They're not loving the other. They're just thinking about themselves. I want to give the juiciest gossip. I want to be the one that looks like they're in the know. I want to look like the best, right? To employ humility there would be to get out of your own way, and say, what's best for others? Not how do I look better in the midst of these people, but rather what's good for all these people. And guess what? Not gossiping about this lady over here is actually better for her than you gossiping about her. So you don't gossip. A way that we look poorly at ourselves, in that sort of negative pride, is something that people who struggle with scrupulosity are afflicted with. I'm too bad. I've committed too many sins. I can't stop sinning. Therefore, I know God can't possibly love me, and I'm just a disaster of a human being, and woe's me. And that just drags us down, and we can't. That's not who you are, though. That's not who you are at all. So how do we grow in the virtue of humility? We go back to our three pillars of the Christian spiritual life: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. In this case, we look at prayer. Why? Because when we spend time in prayer, we get to listen to God's voice. We get to listen to the author of reality tell us about reality. He tells us about who we are. And ultimately, if we spend enough time in God's presence, listen enough to our Father who speaks to us tenderly, our Father who sees us as we really are, we'll get to start seeing ourselves as we really are too. So when you go to prayer and you're looking for humility, don't just go and say, Lord, I'm so prideful, I need to be humbled, or I need more humility. Say to him, Father, show me what you see. Show me who I really am. Because it's in seeing ourselves as we really are and claiming our real identity as sons and daughters, as beloved by the Father, that's when we can allow ourselves to get out of our way and start thinking of others, because we don't have to be constantly worried we're going to lose, because he's already given us everything we need and it'll never be taken away. Now we have the freedom to go out and to love others without feeling like we're not going to be loved ourselves. When we grow in humility, therefore, we better exemplify Jesus. We get out of our own way. We see ourselves as God truly sees us, as his beloved sons and daughters, and in fact, as his true friends. Thanks for watching.